Well, if there is one thing I've learned from my next guest over the years, it's that every person's needs are different when it comes to retirement. There are no blanket answers that work for everyone, especially when you ask the seemingly simple question, which is how much money will I need to retire? So here to help guide us, Cory Sickles, president of Safe Harbor Retirement Group, the sponsor of this segment. Cory, good to see you.
Good to see you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. You know, this is a time I think a lot of people take stake of things like retirement, what we need to do, right? Looking forward. It's kind of that time of the year we all do this. And you get asked a lot of questions, I'm sure, from everybody that comes in your office, but there is one that comes time and time again, right? One question that people ask over and over and over. What is that?
What is my magic number?
The magic.
So I can officially retire.
Okay, because they're looking to sit on the couch a little bit, right? Not have to wake up and go to work.
They are. And, you really kind of have to back into it. One of the things that we do is we have tools and software and we can actually, look at your budget. And hey, everyone hates the word budget, but when you do retire, you go into a fixed income.
Yeah.
So we kind of have to back into it. And just like you said, everyone's different. But, because the one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to retire too early, where you have to come back out of retirement. And the other part is you don't want to be in a situation later on in life where now you're potentially run out of money.
Right. And there are some myths that you often have to dispel. I know one of those is people come in and say, well, my expenses are going to go down, right? I'm not going to be going to work or doing these things.
So, in general, I'd probably say in order to live the lifestyle you have today, you probably need about 70 to 80% of the income that you make while you're working. Okay. Right? But there's other things you have to also plan for. You're going to have, you want to have an emergency fund. You never know what might, come about. And you also you have unexpected causes. That could be medical, which could be huge, but it also could be your air conditioner goes out, or now you need a new roof. There's other things that add up, or maybe even need a new car. Right. So there's other things that you have to be able to plan for, as you kind of go through retirement as well.
And the other thing people aren't always up on is that we are living longer. Yep. So what maybe you thought you needed to save even 10, 20 years ago, that might also change.
Yeah, when we develop plans for someone that's going to retire, say 65, we're building, especially if you're married, there's like an 85% chance one of you today is now going to make it to 90. Okay. So we have to put income plans together. It's going to be for like 30 years. And when you start building income and this has been a great year for this is inflation, right? Yeah. Right. So things cost more. So if you want to retire making $50,000 today, it might have to be $75,000, to have the same spending power 15, 20 years from now. So you need to be able to make sure that, that I think by working with an advisor, we're going to make sure that you don't run, you're not going to be in a situation where you run out of money.
Cory, are there other things too when people come in that you're sitting there and asking them about that they need to consider when looking at retirement, that maybe they should have some forethought about it before they come and talk?
The one thing I would always say, the earlier that we can work with someone, you're going to be in a better situation. There are a lot of people that come in and come in fourth quarter and say, I want to retire in March.
Right, right.
We can still put together a plan, but it might not be as great as it really could have been if we would have worked with you for 5 or 10 years from now. Because you don't want to be in a situation where you do run out of money. And the other part of it is do you want to be able to plan, especially if you're married, do you want to be able to plan for long-term care? Because that could actually wipe out a big portion of your savings, especially if you're married and now you're going to leave that other spouse in a situation where they could run out of money later on in life too.
Hey, Cory, how do you help then people? Because I feel like most of it is mental beyond, right, the numbers, the finance part of it. How do you help them mentally come to that place where, hey, you might not be able to retire in March. You might have to wait a hot minute.
Yeah, and that's a difficult situation because a lot of people have in mind, I'm retiring at 66.
Yeah, they're walking out the doors, farewell.
So now they're coming in and go, did I do all the right things? And sometimes we have to tell them, you know what? You might have to work till 67 or 68, or maybe you can retire and now you're in a position where maybe you go out and get a part-time job. For a couple years in order to help offset some of that. Yeah. We just want to be able to make sure that, you have that worry-free retirement. And really the best way to do that is for us to put together a plan so you can kind of, look out into the future and say, am I going to be in a good situation when I'm 80, 85, 90 years old as well?
Right. I know I always say that I would be like the world's best barista, but I don't want to do it when I'm like 72, you know?
Right,
So
exactly.
you got to look ahead to it. SafeHarborOH.com is a website, and you guys always do complimentary consultations,
Yes,
correct?
complimentary, no obligation, and of course we have locations in Dublin and Easton as well.
Okay, so making it convenient, have a plan. There you go, all the information up there for you. Cory, thank you.
Thank you, Robin.